Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Catalyst Lifestyle Podcast. I am your co-host, Sunkist, and with me is my co-host, Aria F. Wright.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Thursday.
It's a Thursday. We're here live.
It is. It's
It
a
is a
birthday day, too.
It is.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah. We're gonna do that after this.
After this.
After this, we're gonna do
that. Everyone, welcome. Tonight is going to be a very interesting night, music related. As you all know, by the banner coming up, we have tonight's topic is Black culture, leading the music industry with innovation, technology, and relationships. So, as we've learned a lot of new lessons about the world in which we live in, and also the country and the culture that we've built, and most importantly, about who we are as a people and what we are capable of doing. In tonight's episode, we have two of the leading creators in the music industry discussing the value in building and maintaining relationships, how technology and innovation is a driver in the industry, and how Black culture is the creative force behind the music industry. So we are so excited to welcome Joi Brown, who's the Senior Vice President of Atlantic Records. So Aria, can you tell us a little bit about Joi before we bring her in?
Sure. Well, Joi is a delight. She's a delight. So her name is Joi Brown, and she's the Senior Vice President of Marketing and Brand Partnerships at Atlantic Records. And as part of her role, she's the global brand partnerships and commercial licensing team. She executes strategic campaigns that marry Atlantic's diverse roster of artists with prominent brands to create synergistic alliances. She also ideates with brands that want to include music in their strategy to attract more loyal customers. And she works with the internal team on influencer marketing. She's worked strategically with some of the top consumer brands and has used her marketing prowess to secure TV, radio, print, and online campaigns for each of our artists. She was instrumental in securing the first ever brand deal for K. Michelle with Jack Daniels. And she's worked with Missy Elliott and Beats by Dre to launch their global video that won the MTV Award. She's such an all-around marketing guru. She's also worked with her marketing partnership magic with new artists Lizzo and Cardi B, and many more. In 2015, she channeled her love for mentorship, entertainment, and culture into creating the appropriately named Culture Creators brand. Culture Creators connects global cultural pioneers with new creators of culture through thought leadership, education, and ideation across passion points to ensure substantive influence economic growth and inclusion. The organization's flagship event, the annual Innovators and Leaders Awards Brunch, spotlights and amplifies the contributions of individuals globally who have shaped the world's view of Black culture. The organization now spearheads the C2 College Summit to bring industries and companies that are looking for a more diverse candidate pool to undergraduate and graduate students nationally. She is Joi Fabulous Brown.
Hi. Hey, Joi.
Hey, Sunkist. Hey, Aria.
Hi, Joi.
Hi.
So for our next guest, this Grammy Award winner, media mogul, and owner of Scratchvision TV and Radio networks, illustrious career spans over 3 decades. From being the opening act for Run DMC, as well as the third member of EPMD in the 80s, to producing 8 platinum albums for Busta Rhymes in the 90s, to being the tour DJ for Jay-Z in the early 2000s, and more recently opening up for Beyonce. Within the hip-hop world, this Brooklyn, New York native is considered a 5-star general. In 2016, Scratch was knighted Grandmaster by DJ Kool Herc, the father of hip-hop. Scratchvision is an online multimedia TV and radio network and dedicated to giving the public what was taken off music television, the music. With a lineup of iconic DJs such as Jazzy Jeff, Grandmaster Flash, DJ Premier and other legends, Scratch has been able to create global reach. Every Saturday night, you can vibe the Scratchvision Radio from 9 to 11 p.m. on 107.5 WBLS. DJ Scratch has mastered the art of reinventing himself while keeping his identity in the culture of music. While his production is responsible for the sale of over 30 million records, his first love is the turntables. So, without further ado, introducing DJ Scratch.
What's happening?
What's up, DJ?
How you doing?
We're good.
He's my fave. He's my fave.
Hey.
So, once again, I want to thank everyone for coming on tonight's podcast. This is going to be a very deep and in-depth discussion about the music industry, creating relationships, building relationships, and the technology behind that. So I want to start off with a question for both of you. Joi, if you want to, you can chime in first. And so both of you in your own right have created a highway that allows connectivity to the masses, especially Black and brown people. How important is it for you to diversify within a marketing standpoint?
I guess I should ask for clarification. When you say diversify, you mean outside the Black and brown audience?
Exactly.
Okay. Here's the thing. I tell artists all the time, like, you are as strong as your brand. Whether you're with us at Atlantic Records or you go someplace else, you're taking your name and your your music with you wherever you go. And so everyone should want to have growth, right? You want to be an icon artist who could tour without putting out a record. And that only happens when you can just continually feed your audience and stretch your audience, right? And I'd say, Black music, everyone knows, is the root of all music. And so it's not surprising that there are lots of other races who gravitate towards it. And I say, like, listen, no more the merrier. We hope that happens. And we hope that there's conversation around the music and educating people who come into our culture and enjoy those fruits of our labor. So I say, we definitely should diversify our audiences, but I say, like, I don't think people should make music for a particular audience. I think you make authentic music that's core to who you are, and they will come. If it's a hot record, it's a hot record. No one's going to deny that.
Right.
Absolutely. Facts.
Scratch, how about you?
To add on what Joy said, ever since I've been traveling outside of the country since 1988, and every country I've been to in the world, like, people don't even speak the language, but they know the music. They know every word. They sing every word, but won't know one word of English if you're having a conversation with them. So, music is basically colorless, man. And music is music. So, and music is the universal language. So you have to just make music for yourself, and the world will follow.
Right.
So would the both of you agree that hip hop, being the dominant music genre today, bridges the gap, between all cultures?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I remember I was in Italy 2 years ago with Cardi B, and they were talking about how the top streamed format of music was hip hop.
Right.
And what's interesting in Italy is that, like, their sound is still very much regional and still cultural to, like, the Italian sound, but the kids weren't even listening to that. They were streaming. And that's the beauty in streaming, and that we've caught up, is that it can put your music everywhere. Well, back in the day, Scratchy, I know this, like, back in the day, we had to work record pools, you had to go places. Like, now your music can be places that you may never see. Right. And that's the beauty of it. And to piggyback what Scratch said, is like, music is a passion point. People can pick out songs to get married to. This, the song that they, that broke the heart, song that broke their heart, or the first time they fell in love. There's moments around music, right? And so it appeals to our passion and our hearts and our emotion, and that's why people gravitate to it. And I didn't realize until one day I sat back and realized how much music is everywhere. You get on the elevators, there's music in commercials. You listen on the phone, there's music. It's music everywhere, and so you just kind of can't escape it.
Absolutely.
So Joi, with speaking on diversity, how important is it to your company to diversify? So in the realms of creating deals with other companies, outsourcing, et cetera.
I think it, not just our company, I think companies in general, it's important to diversify because one, we don't know it all and we can't be everywhere. And there's talent out there they're doing their thing. And if we can come and amplify what they're doing and to be in business together, great. You know, at the end of the day, the music is a business. It's the music business, right? And so we're all into this to make money, to grow careers, and hopefully grow like legendary careers as someone that can retire off of, right? And we have a catalog that you can still flip and tour off of. And that should be every artist's goal, right? To be in a position where you have a plethora of music that you can just tour and you can say, screw a record label, whatever. But, at a certain point, music is a young people's business. It's not, let's keep it real, right? It's a young people's business. And at a certain point, you're going to be touring, your audience is going to be the 50-plus-year-olds, and you're gonna be doing Las Vegas residencies if you're blessed, and so that I think that's a blessing. But I think that if we come into the business with a business mind, understand that you should take advantage of every opportunity that you're given at the moment, because 15 minutes goes by really, really fast, right? And so you want to be able to use that, and the word of COVID, you want to be able to pivot your business to like merchandising, open up and having investments, or maybe starting your own label. And then if you're a great partner with the record label, then they'll invest in your label. So there's so many ways to flip it if you just go about it the right way.
Yeah. Okay. Agreed.
So social media is the pinnacle point right now in all genres, right? So since we're talking on the topic of music, has social media been an asset for artists? And do you look at social media analytics or the talent of the artist? So is it the analytics that weigh more than the artist's talent, or vice versa? Scratch.
Well, it depends on, record companies look at analytics, and other companies don't. Honestly, it's like, me, myself, like it's not how many people watching, it's who's watching.
Absolutely.
That right. Matters. I totally agree with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because like even myself, like I speak to a lot of my friends. I love music. I grew up on music. I've dabbled in playing music, drums, and actually making music. And for my friends and I, when we sit down and discuss topics like this, we're more concerned about, does the music move you, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what promotes, in our eyes, that's what promotes the popularity of the artist, not necessarily how many record sales, even though that is important. And with social media, I feel that the analytics, I think the tide has changed where analytics really steers an artist on how they perform, like as far as being present. Right. So you see artists in a sense of, back in the days, you have like promotional parties and, doing interviews. Now it's about getting online. How many likes, how many hits do you have on your social media page? Like, so Joi, what's your opinion on that?
Well, that's a tough one, because I see both sides of the coin. No one really cares anymore about how many records you sold. That kind of method's gone out the window a long time ago, when record stores started closing and CD sales became non-existent. I remember at one point, maybe about 6-7 years ago, we were like, especially with what I do in brand deals, I was struggling because I was pitching my artists up against social media influencers. And companies were saying, oh, I don't care if this person has this great record and they're this person, but this person right here has 1 million followers and they can sell my QR code and make some money. And so it was a struggle. Right. When you talk about record companies using analytics, yeah, they do. I think it's a combination, because you can't deny talent, but you also have to keep in mind the era that we're in. We're in an era that it's, the consumers of music the highest consumers are between 13 and 24, the ones who are purchasing and streaming the most, right? Those kids, they flip, there's no sense of real loyalty. And so you having to find music and that they like. And because of that, and because of their rapid, the way they rapidly consume music and content, you have to, you kind of, if you're in this business, you got to figure out how to feed the beast.
Right.
And so we're caught between feeding the beast and then also promoting real talent. And I'll give you an example. Lizzo. Lizzo is an example of real talent. Lizzo, I can tell you how many people I just want to kick, because we have pitched that girl for like 2 years, drag people out to her shows, tell her she was this, she was that, and then the very same people come back like, oh my God, she's amazing. I'm like, well, she was amazing 2 years ago when I was telling you about her, you know? And so that makes, so again, so it's both things, right? There's talent and there's also analytics.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, honestly,
to add on,
go ahead, Scratch.
To add on, like the analytics game has been swindling the record companies for billions for the past 10 years, because artists get signed just because they got 2 million views on YouTube, and those views were jacked up numbers.
Right.
You know what I mean? It got to a point where labels were signing artists just on how many views they had. They didn't even listen to the music. And it took them 10 years to find out that a lot of the views were fake.
Wow.
You know?
But wait, Ari, I know you had a question, but let me just interject for a second. So, Scratch, do you feel there's a comparison in reference to record labels, like you mentioned? Do you feel because, again, years ago, record labels were accused of purchasing albums themselves in order to boost their artist sales. So would you say the same thing happens? You're saying the same thing happens with analytics as well?
Well,
not necessarily tampering, but
not the labels boosting the numbers, the artists, the independent
the artists
boosting it, because that's how labels look at you.
Right.
It came to a point where artists would get signed because because the amount of views they have.
Right.
Not knowing that the views were fake. So they're fooling the labels as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's an actual fact. It's happened plenty of times. But social media is the greatest thing that ever happened for artists and for artists and entertainers. The problem is I see so many people misusing social media. So for example, if you have 1 million followers, 20% to 30% are your actual customers. The other 70 to 80% are people that are watching, maybe because you posted something funny, so they want to see you post something more,
right?
Something else funny, or you posted something deep, and people are looking for something to, to feed their soul or their insecurities or whatever. But that 20%, 30% are your actual customers. They're the ones that's going to buy your music. And when I see somebody like, for example, like Nicki Minaj, she had at the time, the last time I checked her Instagram, she had 95 million followers.
Wow.
So if you have 95 million followers and you can't go platinum, that's a perfect example of misusing your social media, because social media is the greatest thing to happen for us, because now we can talk directly to our customers. Like, I love social media because now I can talk directly to the people who have been supporting me for the past 30 years. I can actually talk to them. So, but I notice a lot of artists, they don't talk and interact with their audience.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
Are those older artists or younger artists?
Both.
Yeah, gotta be younger.
Okay.
Both.
Gotta be younger.
Both. Because the older artists don't even really mess with social media. But
right, you're right.
Right.
They didn't really mess with social media, but they don't understand the importance of social media, because now, you'll see them, they'll post their flyer. Here's my flyer to my show. Here's my new car. Here's my new house. Here's my new jewelry. Here's my new body. Here's my whatever.
No engagement. There's no engagement.
There's no engagement. It's just one side, like, here, post. I'm going to post this, and you better like it, and you better comment. I'm not going to talk back to you, but you better like it, and you better comment.
Right.
And that's misusing social media. And of course, you can't talk to everybody, but interact with a couple of people, so they know that you're actually a real person. You know what I mean? And and you actually care about your fan base, because all of the stuff that we purchase and buy, we put our kids through school, the fans paid for it. So social media is the perfect conduit to talk directly to those people who have funded your life.
Right.
And if you have 1 million followers and you can't sell 100,000 records, it's because you don't interact. And then now that the pandemic, you know, everybody's going Instagram Live now. You know, the fans are finally getting some type of interaction from the people that they look up to, that they follow.
Right.
But hopefully some of them will understand that when everything gets back to normal, keep interacting with your following.
Yeah, that's key.
Well, I don't know about you know, people interacting with social media who don't have social skills. So that's another topic, another day.
That's a whole nother topic.
Right.
You know, I mean, I've
It's
always
a whole other topic.
You know,
you're on there as who you are, as the artist, as the people know who you are. So be whoever that person is, be that person. But you know, talk to them.
Be that introvert.
Right.
Like if James Brown was still alive and Michael Jackson and Prince was still alive and they had an Instagram account and
it'd be crazy.
And I said something in the comments and they replied back to me, I'm in heaven.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy anything.
But that's Scratch. That's the
buying them. You know what I mean?
Right. That's the appreciation for the music, though. Right. There's a deep-seated appreciation for the music when you use an example such as that.
They appreciate you. They're following you because they appreciate you. So it's it's like, you know, social media basically puts you in the room with that person that you look up to. So let's say, like, if you see, you know, if Prince was still alive and you seen Prince on the street and you said, "Hey, Prince," and he replies back and says, "Scratch, what's going on?" I'm in heaven.
It's a whole different vibe now.
I want to have a shrine on that spot right there.
Right. So social media, it's the same thing. It's just virtually like, yo, what's up? Hey, how you doing? Thank you. You know what I mean? Just a little bit of interaction goes a long way. And you see how, you know, these artists have millions of followers, but they can't sell millions of records.
Absolutely. Is that something that record labels, you know, kind of coach them on? Because I mean, I remember the A&Rs would be trying to make sure that they're good on stage and that they build the persona.
A&Rs are still doing that. And listen,
there's no more artist development. So, you know, artist development goes, if there was still artist development, it would definitely, you know, transcend over to social media now, because
I kind of disagree.
That's a major part of artist development.
Yeah, I kind of disagree with you on that, Scratch, because there are some people who are just who they are. You know, we have to get over the thing that the label can make people do things. People show up as they are. They show up with their insecurities. They show up with their baggage. They show up with their lawsuits, whatever.
Their mamas, their drug habits, all of that.
Yeah, baby mamas, all jail records.
But regardless of if you're an asshole or an idiot, you still got to sell records.
Yeah.
You do. But
you still got to sell records.
You do. But there are some artists who just don't. They're people, right? At the end of the day, like, I have some friends who don't get the social media thing, and I got some friends I can't get them off, you know. And it's just like artists. Like, some of them, like, I want to take their phones and throw it in the ocean, and the other ones I can't get them to do anything. And so it's you know, you just try your best. And some people, like, you know, there's some people who are like, you know, I love my music. All I want to do is stay in the studio, put out my music, tour, and that's it. Like, all this other stuff, I'm not getting caught up in.
And the problem is they're not taught. The artists are not taught that social media is a part of you being an artist.
I can just speak for myself. I know that we are very aggressive in the digital space, and I mean, our digital marketing team is the biggest in the entire company. Wow. There are more people that sit in that department than sit in any other department in our entire company. And all they do is, when we sign you, when we sign you, that's the first thing you do is we sit down and we go over your digital strategy. And some are like, I just don't want to do it. And you just can't force them, you know?
No, you can't. can't.
Well,
Can't,
well,
can't. You can bring them to the water. You can bring them to the water. You can't make them
I
drink.
can't make them drink, right?
you can't make them drink. Well, from an innovative standpoint, like what are some of the newest or most innovative products that you've seen within the past year?
Well, for us, augmented reality,
Mm-hmm.
like that's really going to turn into a thing, you know. And it's funny because in Atlantic, people were like, when they had the conversation about AR, everyone looks at me because I've been screaming like, we need to pay attention to AR. We need to pay attention to AR because it gives for a consumer experience. For me, I feel like you can put an artist in a space with consumer without them having to physically be there, and for them to really feel that they're part of that experience. I think that is really kind of unique, and I think it's a great next step, especially as we are, you know, as our marketing has kind of changed in this pandemic era, right? And so we've had to really, you know, I'd say Atlantic was one of the first companies that really to embrace the technology and digital and invest in companies. So we are aggressively figuring it out, you know. It's a matter of like, you know, you have to take some risks. Some stuff we're gonna do is gonna be whack, and some stuff we're gonna do is gonna be great. But you know, it's trying, actually being out there and trying new technology and figuring it out. Because as soon as people get over TikTok, like they got over Musically, you know, they're gonna be into something else.
I'm surprised that there's not more hologram, you know, shows right now, especially in the wake of COVID.
Well, interesting you say that, because AR would give you that kind of vibe.
Okay.
Well, I've seen some music videos, and either of you correct me if I'm wrong. Rest in peace, Pop Smoke. I think his last video had a little bit of that as well. Like it was more animated due to the posthumous album.
Yeah, we've had to do that because, you know, for when COVID was at its height, you know, production was shut down, and so we still got to put music out. You know, we still had new artists to break. And what was fun about that period, or was still in it, but what's fun about it is that we actually got a chance to take risk and be creative with artists and let them like come up with, you know, some really, really crazy out there ideas and do them. And so, because we had the time to do it, you know, and so I appreciate that. I appreciate the learnings that we took from that.
Well, Instagram just made a announcement yesterday that they created a TikTok.
Yeah,
I
think it's called Reels. It's Reels, right? Reels, yeah.
Right on in. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're cornering the market for everything.
Yeah.
Another thing, you know, as far as technology, you know, the text feature. That
the what feature?
Text.
Oh, text. Yeah.
You know, there's companies like Community that you know, you can tell your fans to text you, and you can actually, you know, partition what city they're from, what type of music they like, and you can talk directly to those individual people. So let's say you got 50,000 people. So 10,000 like hip hop, 10,000 like house, 10,000 just want to, you know, talk about other stuff. You can just text them, all of them at one time directly.
Right.
And I know you like that because that's what Scratchvision does. Right. We had a conversation about this a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of months ago. I don't know. All the days run together for me now. But
everything's everything.
Yeah, everything's everything. But you told me that you know exactly who's listening, when they're listening, where they're listening from, what their gender, sex preferences, and all of that stuff are. And I thought that was quite amazing. I mean, you've been an innovator in this space for so many years. Scratchvision, 10 years old now? And now
August 11th will be 11 years.
You have the anniversary coming up, right? This is the anniversary.
We're going to have a party.
Wait, and Scratch. And Scratch, and on that anniversary date, you're doing a versus battle between Bad Boy and Rockefeller, right?
Bad Boy versus Rockefeller, yeah.
Oh, that's high.
Yeah.
Because we've been doing those battles way before, you know, before this versus thing that's been going on. We've been doing.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that.
Oh yeah. All right.
Joi, culture creators. How does that platform foster opportunities for artists, entrepreneurs, and corporations, like both old and new?
So here, let me just clarify some things. So it's not necessarily an entertainment platform, right? Did I lose y'all?
No,
You're good. You're good.
Oh, okay.
I'm giving you the
You're good.
spotlight right now.
Yeah, you want
Okay.
a spotlight. This is a Joy question.
Okay. So it's basically what I realize is that, we have a whole generation of young people coming up that, because of technology, don't necessarily get like the in-person, the skills, the conversation that to help them, navigate corporate America or entertainment, in the entertainment business, and put them in places to take our seats, right? And so
Right.
if we don't look out for one another and create opportunities, then there won't be people, brown and black people marketing brown and black people music, making brown and black people films. And I think it's super important to make sure that we have some ownership of our culture. And I think it's important that we have ownership of our history and be the ones at the table narrating and illustrating it. And so Culture Creators birthed the idea of just bringing people together. The idea was, if I put people together in a room, we've got to walk away with some business. And so what started off as something small focused around music grew into this whole kind of diversity and inclusion platform without it necessarily being technical like that. It's just really basically going through industry by industry, recognizing where there are issues, where I have companies that tell me that, I can't find any, we can't recruit any talented HBCU students. And I'm like, how is that possible? Especially in the heyday, HBCUs ran the music business. And so it's my way of kind of giving back, but also hoping that by our effort that we're changing the game. We're changing the way companies look at doing business with brown and black people, looking how they can employ us, how they can make deals that are equitable, how we can be the ones that are the decision makers and the check writers, especially now that, Black is on trend. And now more than ever, especially when after this George Floyd thing and all this companies coming out, making all these donations to this Black and everybody. Now everyone wants to talk about culture and everybody wants to talk about HBCUs and everyone wants to talk about Black people. And that's great. But now, my job and my passion is to go back and make sure that I'm holding people accountable. And if they can't figure it out, then I'm happy to help them figure out how to make sure it's impactful.
Yeah. Culture creators is definitely something that everyone should aspire to be, a culture creator.
Yeah. And, it's what I love about what we're doing is that, it's a collaborative effort. It's not all me. I've got great people who work with me. And honestly, it's been like a come one, come all. Or, I get college students all the time. They're like, "Oh, I love what you're doing. Come on board." Next thing you know, they're holding a student rally for me. So it's really about, and it's really about for me, it's like if I allow them to do that, then I'm teaching them as we do it. Right. And so I'm putting them in the room with the woman who started vote.org. I'm putting them in the room with Pepsi, and I'm putting in so it's getting them access that sometimes that they don't, they're unable to reach access to.
Right.
I mean, honestly, it's like for me, Culture Creators was such an amazing, it's like an aha moment where you're like, oh my God, like all of our friends, all of our peers, Scratch, Culture Creator, everyone that worked in the music business back in the 90s, Culture Creator.
That Culture Creator party.
Crazy.
Ooh. And it was fun. It's supposed to be fun. We don't for me, if you know me, I'm not low. I'm not pretentious. I'm real down to earth. And that's how I want people to come into Culture Creators with, right? There's no VIP. If you're invited, you're a VIP. Now I can't get everybody in because it's just we have space limitations and everything's free. We don't charge people. So at a certain point, I just gotta say no.
Right. But everybody feels comfortable.
Yeah, but you should feel comfortable. It's, that's how, when I was coming at music area back in our day, it was nothing to be partying with Diddy and Jay right here and Andre's right there. And, we were all in the same room. And that's how I was able to network and navigate my getting what I needed. And there's just no opportunities like that. There's no more music conferences. There aren't that many conferences, period, across any industry for that matter. Right.
Go outside.
Right.
Right.
So this gives an opportunity for people to navigate that world. I mean, I remember the first and second brunch I did, people came back to me and were like, you don't know, I just landed a deal out of that brunch. And that's what it's about.
So it's extremely receptive
together across the industries that don't know each other,
but
are powerful in their own right. And why can't we be doing business together?
Yeah. That's so true. I mean, guys,
very powerful.
Really started, you were a part of the movement of people that started this entire lifestyle of music and Black culture running everything about life. Anybody who's anybody has gravitated to music by EPMD, DJ Scratch. Your artists, Joy, are, you've been at Atlantic for how many years? Good Lord.
20.
We didn't hear you. Speak up, girl.
20.
20. So, I mean, honestly, that's like my son's age. So, I used to be out there in these streets 20 years ago. I'm not so much anymore.
Yeah, whatever.
They ain't no streets to be out in.
Huh?
There's no streets to be out in.
No, but I say this. So let me say this. Like,
well, you're not supposed to be. But go ahead, Joy. Go ahead.
I'd say, like, the concept around culture creators, I have to give credit to Andre Harrell. Rest in peace. Like, he was like one who, like, if you knew Andre, he would always tell you these stories, right? And it's always about how
come on, we got to razzle dazzle. We got to razzle dazzle. We got to fizzle dizzle dizzle. Hey, baby, listen, we got to make it do what it do.
That pizzazz.
And he was like, and he would always tell me, he's like, Joy, he's like, you need to go out there and kill him, Joy. Go out there and kill him. And it just, he put the battery in my back to say, you know what, do what you can do. Do what, don't let anyone tell you no, just do it. And so, and I was thinking about just like how he had, TV, he had film, he had, all this stuff going on. And in the 80s and 90s, like, Black music was everywhere. Fashion, you couldn't escape it. And, it's no secret that, you can go to any data analyst and they'll tell you, like, the trend is anything that's cool in the African-American space always sells.
Right.
And so we should own that. We should own that data. We should be part of those companies that are making the money off of our backs.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's all.
I mean, like even now, like, like Spotify, for instance, if I'm not mistaken, recently they've been having issues. And no one's complained about those issues, right? No one said, like, oh, that's a BS company. But God forbid, like, Tidal was to have one tech issue one day. Oh, it's ghetto. Oh, it's this, and try to disconnect from it, right? So we as a whole, regardless of what the situation is, like, be it a small startup to a large Black corporation, we have to back those corporations, even in dark times.
We have to give each other grace.
I don't have Apple Music. I got Tidal.
Right. We have to give each other grace.
Right.
We have to give each other grace and also be able to, like, understand that while we give each other grace, we also have to be able to pull each other up. And I think that's where the disconnect is that if I'm doing business with you and there's a problem, I should be able to go to you and say, hey, I'm supporting you, but this is what I'm experiencing. This is the problem. And we should be able, because that's the only way we're going to get better. Right. And so it's one thing to say, oh, spend our dollars in Black businesses. But then we also have to make sure that we have business owners who understand that, the more we invest in you, the expectation, the level, we need you to rank up, because it's great to have just a Black dollar, but I want you to have the white dollar too. Yeah. It should be a Black company shouldn't just appeal to Black people.
Right.
So
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, I mean, I was going to just say something really, has been really stressful for me, because just looking at, and I know I'm jumping ahead, but looking at the Versus, there's no reason why there's not a platform for Versus that's Black owned.
Scratch, don't make that face.
There's no reason. I'm sorry.
No.
So much power. It's so much power in Versus. It's taken off so quickly, and it's the thing to do. It is everything. It's the thing that's on the tip of everyone's tongue when they talk about music, and people. I find myself in conversations on a regular basis about who should be matched up against whom, and there's no reason why it shouldn't be somewhere like on Scratchvision.com,
right?
For example, I'm just gonna say it.
I put the first offer in. I put the first offer in, and he was like, "Nah, I'm gonna keep it on the gram." I'm like, "Yo, but it's messing up." Like and I showed him exactly what I can do. Excuse me. Split screen. I told him why the split screen acts up the way it does, because when you open up the split screen on Instagram,
Right.
and you put audio going through both, it's mono. So that's why it sounds like that. That's why it sounds
Right.
trash like that. So I told him, we can even do this. I can put all of y'all in a box like how we are on Scratchvision. I can put Timbaland, Swiss, the contestants, and if you want, we can stream it on Scratchvision, and I can stream it straight to Instagram too if you want. But he said, "Now we're gonna keep it on the gram." And then next thing you know, I see it's Apple Music. I'm like,
all of us already know the answer to that. It's the bag.
of course.
It's the bag. It's the bag. I mean, I love Swiss.
But we
I love
can still
Tim.
get the bag, but keep control.
Absolutely.
Right.
Still get the bag.
That's yeah.
And then lift the person up that's hosting it. Like, come on, you got a platform.
You gotta lift each other up.
But you know what? Just like you have 360 deals, just like you have, split deals, merge deals, any type of deal, that could have been a deal that could have been split down the middle between Scratchvision and even Apple Music per se, right? So
We didn't need Apple Music, and like I said,
no, I'm just playing devil's advocate from their standpoint, right? Just like a what if, right? Like if there was a relationship that they were trying to keep or even build, but still pull Scratchvision in, and then maybe even, all right, we're going to do a 6 month to a 12-month contract, and then totally scratch. Anything could have happened, but not to happen.
Nah, we got to keep. You can't say it's for the culture when you take it outside the culture. Period.
Right.
Yeah. And it's not even that there's a superior product out there, because they're not superior. Like, I've seen Scratchvision. I'm sorry.
No, I've seen it too. I mean, I think it definitely should have been on Scratchvision.
I think that it's one of the most innovative products that I've seen, because when you look at the little box that Instagram gives you that covers the people's faces, and you're like, okay, I can't even see them. I can't even see what's happening. Like, on the live Instagram part, there's none of that happening on Scratchvision.
The words are not going over your faces. And once the screen cuts off, the chat doesn't cut off. You can stay in the chat. All of the above. I posted a video of how it would work if we do it on Versus, and I said, Instagram is not the culture. The culture is on Instagram. Yeah. Exactly. Scratchvision is the culture.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
But so speaking of Scratchvision, like what's next? What's like next up for Scratchvision?
We just grow as the technology grow, man. Honestly, my 5-year plan is already been in action for 6 years. You know what I'm saying? So now, we're just growing as the technology grow. When I first launched Scratchvision in 2009, the apps didn't have, the capability that we have now, to stream live on the app. Once that capability was available, before everybody else was doing it, that's when I started doing it. And so we just growing. We just growing as technology grows. That's really it. Stay above the curve.
Yes.
Got it.
Whole lot. And I feel like we have to be 3 steps, 4 steps, 5 steps ahead, because we're not giving those shots. We don't have that seat at the table. So we have to be 3, 4, 5 steps ahead at all times. And we're going to do that by bonding together and helping each other.
Honestly, my dream for doing the Versus thing, we should have did it on Versus. We should did Versus on Scratchvision and feed it through Tidal. Keep it all the way.
That would have been
hours. Yeah, that would have been hot. That would have been all the way 100%.
Yeah.
Maybe someone will hear this and it'll happen.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope so.
It just takes that one. It takes that one person. That's going to be like, okay, you know what? Let's do this. And I don't know who that person is. Who is that person, guys? Who's that person?
Yeah, I know who's that person?
Come on. Who is that person? Come on.
They're both keeping a button lip. They're both keeping a button lip.
This is like, I've never seen anything like this. Very, very like,
Rock Nation.
Say it again, Joy.
I said Rock Nation.
Oh, okay. No specific name.
Okay.
No specific names. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, let's move on.
Let's see.
No, it's not a bad thing. And Rock Nation's part of Tidal. It makes sense for them to do some type of partnership like that.
Yeah.
It should have been. It should have been through Tidal.
Yeah.
Scratchvision controls it. Does the technical part and feed it, and Tidal be the engine.
Right.
That's what it should
From a
have
broadcasting standpoint. Right.
Should have been the engine.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you amplify, and this question is distributed to both of you. How do you amplify your brand, like from emerging talent, online platform, etc.?
Well, we just amplify through through the music, because that's what we're giving everybody what was taken away, the music, and the music sells itself. You know what I mean? And just doing innovative things, and I got some major stuff that's about to come as well, that I'm about to announce in the next week. But really just don't, like, we don't really need to do like, a magic show to just keep it, to make it pop.
Right.
It's already popping. We just got to just,
stick to the script.
And my whole thing with Scratchvision, I didn't want the hype. I just wanted just to do, to do it organically and keep it the internet's best kept secret.
Right.
I didn't want it, I didn't want like, this big star to go, hey, go to Scratchvision, and they're coming just because that person said so, not because of what we're actually doing. Because that person says so, the people that are following him might not understand what we're doing over here. You know what I mean? So, we just keeping our feet on the ground with it, man. Keeping our feet on the ground.
Excellent. Let's keep that grind going.
Yeah.
Joi, how about with culture creators? Like, how do you amplify the brand, especially during COVID?
Just listening to people, and serving them. I think it's all about me using this vehicle to help other people. And we had started our HBCU initiatives, and we did one college summit in DC last October, and we were supposed to do one in Birmingham in March. Obviously that didn't happen because of COVID, and we just turned it into a virtual opportunity. And I mean, that was even better. Like, it was the first time we'd ever done anything in a virtual space like that. We did 4 days of virtual meetings and mentor 101s. And we had some great speakers. We had Steve Pammon from Parkwood and Julie Greenwald from Atlantic Records and Danielle Lee from the NBA. Like, they all spent time talking to these students. And so I'm forever grateful for like everyone who I called to show up, and the students really showed up and had really, really great questions. So we're going to continue on doing that. We actually have we have a really amazing platform that we're going to be launching soon around women. And then
When is that?
You'll hear about it. It's coming soon.
Oh, okay.
And we'll be doing another HBCU summit in September.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
And ever since COVID, Scratchvision has like skyrocketed because we're online business.
Yes.
So now everybody's home. So the attention is automatic. Like, shout out to D Nice, because when he had that epic moment on Instagram, it made all the DJs jump on Instagram Live and all of that.
Right.
And
it opened the doors.
Yes.
Right. It didn't open doors. It just actually exposed DJs.
Yes.
It gave exposure and exposed DJs as well, because the DJs that you look up to, you follow, seeing them in a club is one thing, but watching them online is a completely different way of DJing.
Right.
So
and you also can determine. You also see the skill set, right? Because in the club, it's
and
one thing to enjoy the music, but then it's another to actually, right? Like the eyes are not on the DJ, the ears are open to what's being played. However, now when we go
you're not
online,
really paying attention to the DJ in the club. It's the atmosphere. So now the attention is on the DJ.
Is on the music, right?
Yeah.
on the DJ now.
On the
So
DJ.
now, you know, people are finding out now, like, damn, I thought he was really dope. He's really not that good.
Right.
You know,
or he or she is really fire.
but she's really not that good.
Really not that good.
And it's, you know, it became like, you know, it's a virtual club. So now you can just, you know, you look at all of the lives, you click, okay, let's go in this club. Let's see what's happening here.
Right.
Now they're not rocking. Let's go to this one.
Uh-huh.
Okay, they're rocking. I'm coming back.
There's a lot of club quarantines.
Yep.
Right.
Changing the channel.
A lot of
Right. So shout to D Nice.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
big shout to D Nice.
Because his moment, like put a super flashlight on Scratchvision, because you know, I was already doing Instagram Live when they launched the live feature in 2016. And you know, when, you know, because they seen everybody, they going live from their cell phones. I'm going live from Scratchvision, and I just broadcast it through Instagram Live. So when they see Scratchvision, they're like, yo, how is his like this? He got 4 camera angles, he got graphics.
Yeah, his setup is crazy. His setup is crazy.
Graphics, he got it. How is he doing this? You know, so it just brought everybody to, you know, and ever since the quarantine, I haven't went live on Instagram more than 10 times in these past 4 months. But the first 3 times I went live, after COVID, I had like over 1,000 new Scratchvision subscribed members and over 60,000 new followers on Instagram. Just because they're seeing that my Instagram Live is different from everybody else's.
Right.
I'm glad you said that. So speaking of that, like I have something else to say to you, Scratch. But Joy, has there been an uptick in artist sales since COVID, or has it been like flat, or like what's going on with that?
At first, when COVID first hit, we were kind of flat, and I think that, you know, everybody was just shook because we didn't know what was happening or what was going on, and some people weren't ready to like really go into these living room performances, but now we're starting to see the uptick.
Okay. And then the other thing that I wanted to say about Scratch was the whole bringing light to DJs thing. There was, DJ Envy did the Cash App, and I think there were some people that were like, "Oh, don't put your Cash Apps on." That was a way that these people were feeding their families. Their club DJs out there.
Yeah, this is what happened. Pom, to cut you off.
Nope, go.
It was Kid Capri.
Oh, okay.
It was Kid Capri that went on Instagram and said, DJs that are putting their Cash App up, I don't like it. It looked like you're begging, and I blasted him for that because I didn't agree with that. I'm like, yo, you can't tell people, right? You can't tell people who are desperate how they should ask for money, you know, and unless you're helping them, you shouldn't say anything.
Right.
And so a couple of days later, I wanted to do something to help because, you know, just from day one, I was always an activist for DJs and for DJ culture. That's why Scratchvision exists. So a couple of days later, I told all of the I made a post on my Instagram, and I told all of the DJs, I said, DJs that are, you know, that are basically hurting for money, put your Cash App up in my comments, and anybody that can help them that are in my comments that are following me, pick a name out of my comments and send them what you can. It could be $10. And just automatically people started DMing me like, yo, somebody just sent me $50.
Right.
Scratch.
So people just started tapping in.
Yeah. So I just created a space on my page just for people to help people. You know, I can't give everybody money, but some of these followers might have money to give. You know what I mean? Because everybody that's following me is not DJs. A lot of people have jobs. So So DJ Envy saw what I did, and he DM'd me and was like, "Yo, I love what you're doing. How can I help?"
Right.
So I told him the same thing. I said, pick some names and send some Cash App. So he took it a step further, and he went on his live and said, "Yo, anybody any DJs, put your Cash App up. we're gonna try to help the DJ. So he got a sponsor, and he got so then we set up a fundraiser, and we just did it on Envy's page, and we raised $106,000.
Wow, that's dope.
Nice. That's dope.
And DJ
That's
Khaled
dope.
put up 50,000, 45,000.
Right.
Wow.
So now you have other artists matching it, right?
That's
Try to
dope.
match it or put up just adding on to it.
Actually, it was supposed to just raise 50,000. That was the goal.
Right.
So we was up to 5,000, and Khaled just topped it off and just said, "Here's 45."
Wow.
Wow.
So we was like, "Okay, we got the
So it's-
45. Might as well keep going."
Right. So see, this is a pure example of those actions. Us working together speaks volumes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So this is going to be a two-part question, and I'm going to wrap it up with this. So first part is why should we care where our businesses are going, right? And this more or less is to, and how you respond to this is to those individuals that feel they should go to another Apple Music or someone outside of the culture as far as the company is concerned. So where should we care where our business is going, and how can we reassure that our culture is not getting vulturized?
Right.
Well, we have to have something for ourselves, man. I've been saying that forever, and I always say, use these free platforms to build your own.
Right.
Use these free platforms to build your own, but we have to have our own, because how many companies eat from hip hop that are not from hip hop?
Everyone.
And it's not, and you don't
Right.
have to be, it's not even a black-white thing, because there are white people from the culture.
Right.
But there are people that are not from the culture are the ones eating the most from the culture.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's the issue.
Sitting in those boardrooms.
That's
Those
the
suits.
issue.
Right.
That's the issue. There are people that are funded by Verizon that are eating from the culture and just giving people peanuts to be on the screen.
Right.
So it's very important that we have to make sure where our company is going. So we have to definitely keep it within the culture, because if we don't, Tidal is the only thing. And Scratchvision is the only company that is from the culture, from people from the culture, for the culture.
For us by.
Right.
And Revolt.
Yeah.
And Revolt. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Joy?
Revolt.
I agree with what Scratch said. I would take it up even a notch. I think that it's great for us to do and support one another on, Scratchvision and Tidal and Revolt. But we also have to understand, like, we also need more of those. And the way we also got to play the game. And so I don't want us to always think that we have to, just be on these three things. We should have more people building more Scratchvisions,
Facts.
Someone should be seeing
Exactly.
what we're doing and taking it up 3 times a notch, and so that there's a younger version of DJ Scratch. And those opportunities sometimes come from not working with, not doing something with Tidal. So I think there's more than one way to skin a cat. I think we just need to be smart. We need to understand the business. We understand the rules of the game. And as we climb, we got to bring people with us, right? Because we need someone. I think what happens is we get in positions and then we turn around. We didn't bring anybody with us, and we have no one to have our back.
Right.
And we have no one who can build with us.
Right.
And that's a problem. I think if there's any learned knowledge that I have as I'm building, it behooves me to make sure that someone else is getting information, because it's going to take more than me to lift this up. And so I think that's how we work collectively together to build more businesses, to build more opportunities, and understand too that we always talk about for the culture and that kind of thing. Scratch, you're right. There's some people who aren't Black, who are not Latina, who are in the culture, or who are supportive. Some of my biggest supporters and allies have been white women. And I don't want to discredit that they saw passion and vision in me and believed in what I said, because I've had some Black women who didn't support me. But I think that we need to still keep focused on what our mission is, and be clear that, at the end of the day, I'm still a Black woman. And it's important to me that I'm empowering my young people and my young girls, to empower them to be entrepreneurs and business owners. And whatever way I got to get there to do that, I'm going to do. And then, I tell people all the time, because I have people.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
He froze.
He froze.
I froze.
Technology.
There you go.
I froze.
Yeah, you did.
Last couple words.
See, we need our own wireless too.
See? Yo, Scratch.
Now next time
we need
Scratchvision. We wouldn't have this problem.
Yeah, we need this on Scratchvision. That's the problem.
Hey, let's do it.
So, I mean, both of you, amazing people, just genuine people, both brilliant. And I love the innovation from both of you. And I can't wait to see a collaboration. I can't wait to see more, from the younger Scratches and the younger Joi Browns and, music executive, music mogul, right, who also has her finger on the pulse of what's going on in the culture and in society. And then also who is respected by every single person that has come up in the ranks. So, Scratch goes without saying, like, everybody who's a DJ respects the hell out of Scratch. So I can't gush about, either of you enough, but I definitely appreciate the fact that you guys are still in the culture. You're not going anywhere, and you're continuing to look for ways to create paths for other people. So,
and 100% relevant.
Oh, completely.
and thank y'all for having me. And Aria, you're great on camera.
Oh, thank you.
I love this.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Damn, the host don't get no love, yo?
Oh, no. Salute to both of you. But
this is a great platform. I'm super proud of you.
Thank you so much, guys. Yeah,
thank you, guys.
This guy is the visionary. He's amazing. So
yeah, and I was like, all right, I don't like doing this stuff.
No, I definitely appreciate both of you for being on this evening, and the wise words and the context behind this topic is so important for the culture. And that's what this podcast was created for, right? Yeah. Exposing culture creators and entrepreneurs and business owners and innovators in today's culture, in today's industry. And I definitely want to thank you, Joi, so much for the hard work that you put in all these years and helping to connect and bridge the gap between a lot of the artists, both old and new. And Scratch, thank you again for the years of music that you've put together, created, from Run DMC to EPMD to Busta Rhymes, and the resume goes on and on and on. Thank you both so much. I definitely appreciate it. And salute to both of you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, now let's go watch Versus on somebody else's platform.
I'm good. I'm about to watch this game.
Love you guys.
Bye.
All right.
Later.
Thanks, Greg.
All right. So tonight was fantastic. One of the topics that I love, and one of my just music that I grew up on, and speaking to both of them was very liberating and educational. And I just want to thank both Scratch and Joi. Aria, thank you so much again.
Absolutely.
And I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Please subscribe to the channel, Catalyst Lifestyle. Also on Facebook, which is Catalyst Conversation with a K. We're also on Twitter and Instagram, Catalyst Lifestyle. And also on YouTube, please hit the like button. It will definitely help. Tell a friend. Yes. And thank you for tuning in tonight. We love you all. And again, as you see at the bottom of the screen, all we got is us.
Thank you,
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We love you all.
We love you guys. Amber, Valerie, Decay, like all of these people. Rasta New, yes. Pat Alpert, he was on our show last week. Everybody, Troy. There's a lot of people leaving comments, so I'm excited. Can't wait to read.
Oh yeah, I can't wait either. All right. So we're gonna sign off. We love you all. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.